so much for joining me. Whoever's about to pop into this, I'm just speaking that into existence. I have been going live, but I've been recording them on Restream and then streaming them out live on Restream. And this is my actual first live stream. So looking forward to see who's going to be here to engage with me. I'm very excited about this experience. But in the meantime, let's get started the way we always know how, with my theme music, and then we'll get into this because I can't wait to talk to y'all about how you can reflect your truth, not your problem. So let's get into this. Y'all, all right, let's talk about how you can reflect your truth, not your problems. Welcome to my live stream. This is where creatives, visionaries, innovators, coaches, and entrepreneurs, those of you I call authentically distinct folks, people like you and me, we come together and we focus on being our authentic selves for greater joy and impact for ourselves and those we touch with our unique gifts, talents, and abilities. And today we're going to be talking about how to reflect your truth, not your problems. And as I am your guide to power, agency, and freedom today, let me introduce myself. I am Ebony L. Green of Authentic Distinction, where I help authentically distinct and neurodistinct folks develop deeper connections and impact in their life, their career, and their business without compromising their authenticity, their desires, and their values. I am the only certified life and business coach who teaches you how to use your authenticity to create what I call actionable safe spaces for yourself and others. I do this by guiding you to make sense of the greatness in your head without judging your truth, your worth, or your creativity so that you can bring your ass everywhere you go. That's the way you're going to grow, shine, and do the most, which is exactly what I want for you. And that is why I am unapologetically known as the Ratchet Sage, because I'm not playing with your greatness and I refuse to see you ashy in these streets. I want you to know that your impact has the capacity to be distinct and therefore extremely valuable and sought after, and that this only happens when you have safe spaces so you can shine in your authenticity and unique capabilities. And that, folks, is the core of my work, teaching you how to shine and develop clarity, confidence, and resilience in what makes you authentic so you have the ability to create actionable safe spaces everywhere you go for scaled impact. And I know you want to do that, so that's why I'm here bringing you this heat on these here social media streets. So today, we're going to discuss the steps it takes so that you can look in the mirror and know what to do with your mess and your greatness, because the truth is everybody has a truth and some problems. And how you engage with both is how you are going to know how they're going to affect you. So let's get into what these steps are, because I don't want y'all out here lost in these streets. But first, I got a little question for y'all who might be showing up in these streets with me. When you think about how your problems and your truths show up in your life, your relationships, your career, and your business, I want to know what comes up for you. So drop a comment in the chat and let me know your thoughts on this. And while y'all do that, I'm going to share with y'all my thoughts. We want what we see in the mirror to be a reflection of what we want to be on the inside, plus what we want others to get from us on the outside. But that doesn't just happen, okay? That's just not how that works. I find that in my work as a coach that most clients think that as long as they are authentic, that they will love who they see in the mirror because they won't have any problems they will want to hide or eliminate. But this is a huge misconception. And if you stick around, you'll learn why this is not true. And in my work training transformational coaches and impact-based entrepreneurs and my Unlock Your Expert Signature series, I find that most new and experienced business owners, they both think that being authentic in business automatically means that they will be successful in business as long as they too hide or eliminate their problems. But this is not true either, okay? To be clear, liking what you see in the mirror for your life, your career, your relationships, and business, despite your inevitable human-ass problems, is a dope-ass experience. So let's not discount this. This is very important shit. Yet I maintain that you need more than that to be truly clear, confident, and resilient in who you be and what you do in your life, your career, and your relationships, and your business. And in order for you to have authentic agency when you be and do when you're with yourself and when you're with others. So if you stick around, you'll understand why I stand 10 toes down in these seemingly scandalous yet true statements, because this confusion surrounding how you see yourself and approach your problems is at the root of what we are discussing today. Bottom line, if you don't know the truth of what you see in the mirror and within your problems, how can you know that you are living as a reflection of your own truth and not your problems? So tonight, I'll be breaking all of this down for y'all. But first of all, there are levels to this work, and I want to be clear about that before we go any further. I don't want anyone to think that this is a simple fix. I'm going to say something to y'all, and in 15 minutes, y'all are going to be like, hallelujah, yes, and then walk away. This is some serious shit, and so there's levels to it, and I want you to be able to unpeel the layers for yourself and get to where you want to go. Let me check the chat and make sure we don't have anything pertinent going on. All right, perfect. Nothing going on there that we need to respond to. All right, so let's get back into this. First of all, there are levels to this work. So you want to be clear about that before we go any further. And so let's talk about what these levels are. The first level of ensuring you reflect your truth and not your problems is for you to live your truth. The first level is personal, intrapersonal, and interpersonal. The personal level of living your truth is all about knowing what your truth is so that you have a chance to live it. Like, you can't live it if you don't know what it is. The intrapersonal level of living your truth is about how you feel about your truth so that you can choose to live it. If the way you feel about your truth prevents you from living it, you won't live it. So you got to get clear on that intrapersonal level of knowing how you feel about your truth, okay? So you can choose to live it. The interpersonal level of living your truth is about owning your truth when you sense what other people feel about it so that you can continue to choose to live it. There are going to be people who support your truth. There are going to be people who have a problem with your truth. There are going to be people who try to block your truth, who try to stop you from getting to where you're trying to go. And if you allow all of that to stop you, you're not going to get to where you want to go, and you're not going to be really choosing to live your truth. So if you want to do that, you got to get really, really comfortable about owning your truth, even though you know what other people might feel about it, whether it's for you or against you, okay? These are all very important things. So let me give you some steps on how you can take the chance and take a stab at living your truth, because this is the very first fundamental level, okay? So I want you to be able to do this. Step one is all about honoring self-introspection. Self-introspection is the examination, processing, and discerning of your own mental situations and relationships, as well as your own emotional situations and relationships. When you examine, process, and discern about your mental situations and relationships and your emotional situations and relationships, that is when you are doing self-introspection. But you can honor yourself through self-introspection, and you can dishonor yourself through self-introspection. So let's talk about when you dishonor yourself. When you do that, you're going to be examining and finding things you or they, other people, are ashamed of or guilty of. You'll also process things in ways that induce more shame and guilt for all parties involved. And lastly, you will discern very bad things about yourself and other people. And the most unfortunate part about all of this is that you will be you'll be incapable of seeing the potential and amazingness, the greatness in yourself and others, and you'll focus only on the mess. And you and others cannot be a reflection only of your mess. So if you are looking in the mirror and you only see your mess, or you only look at them and see their mess, you are not living your truth. You're not allowing them to live their truth. You're living someone else's truth for you and trying to put your truth of them on them. This is extremely unhealthy, okay? You don't want to be doing this. This is ashy. However, when you honor yourself and others through self-introspection, you examine and find things you or they are empowered and proud of. You also process things in ways that induce more agency and positive impact for everybody involved. And lastly, you discern very good things about yourself and others. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't have any mess and that no one other than you has mess. To be human is to have greatness and mess and to manage both accordingly. So naturally, just like you cannot be a reflection of your mess only, you cannot be a reflection of your greatness only too. So if you're looking in the mirror and you only see your greatness or someone else's greatness when you look at them, you are not living your truth and not allowing them to live their truth. You're living someone else's truth for you, or you're putting your truth of them on them, and you don't want to be doing that. Again, this is violent and this is ashy. It is when you can see your mess and your greatness and still honor yourself. It is when you can see their mess and their greatness and still honor them that you are able to live your truth and allow them to live their truth. This is how you open the door for authentic clarity for yourself and authentic clarity for other people. That's how this works. But this is the first step. This is only the first step in knowing how to live your truth. The second step in knowing how to live your truth is all about authentic self-reflection. The first step was all about self-introspection, but you still got to do some self-reflection, okay? Self-reflection is engaging in serious openness, consideration, and discernment about something that has already happened or that you believe is going to happen. When you are inauthentic in your self-reflection, baby, you're not open to what is true because of your shame and your guilt. You also consider things in ways that do not serve you because your perception and lens is skewed by your pain and your trauma. And last but not least, you discern all the wrong things about your situations and relationships because nothing makes sense to you. When this happens, it's such a sad thing because you end up losing your capacity to learn from the past, let alone learning in the moment. And this is so important when learning to live your truth. How do you learn to live a truth you cannot stand if you haven't developed the capacity to learn from your mistakes and keep it pushing with self-care, self-honor, and self-love? That's super important. So trust me, if you don't want to be a reflection of your confusion, so you want to, because if you end up being a reflection of your confusion, you're going to end up looking in the mirror and only seeing your confusion. And that means you're not living your truth. And I don't want that for you. You're going to be living someone else's truth for you. And similarly, if you're looking at someone else and you see nothing but confusion in them, you're not allowing them to live their truth. You're putting your truth of them on them. And that's not something you want to be doing either. So that's the second step in making sure you're able to live your truth. Because when you are authentic in your self-reflection, you're open to what is true because you've healed your shame and your guilt. You also consider things in ways that serve you because your perception and your lens is clear despite your pain and your trauma. So we all got that. And lastly, you discern all the right true things about your situations and relationships because shit makes sense to you. You're not over here saying yes to things you want to say no to and saying no to things you want to say yes to. You are understanding and having complete clear discernment, and you understand what's going on, and you're able to make sense out of what it is and able to decide and discern what you want to do. This does not mean that there are not moments of confusion or that there aren't moments where you just don't know. To be human is to have unknowns and to manage accordingly. So naturally, just like you cannot be a reflection of your confusion only, you cannot be a reflection of your knowledge and your capacities only too. If you're looking in the mirror and you only see your knowledge or your capacities, or worse, you only see their knowledge and capacities when you're looking at somebody else, you're not living your truth, nor are you allowing them to live their truth. You're living someone else's truth for you, and you're trying to put your truth on them. That's not useful. But when you can see what you know and what you don't know and still develop yourself, that's when you're able to live your truth. And when you can see what they know and what they don't know and still allow them to develop themselves accordingly on their own time and their own terms, that's when you're allowing someone else to live their truth. This is how you open the door for authentic confidence. Otherwise, the confidence that is brewed within this whole space is not authentic, and it's just externally imposed. It won't last, and it won't do what it's supposed to do. All right? So that's the second step. You want to make sure you have that authentic self-reflection. If the first step of living your truth is authentic self-introspection, the second step is authentic self-reflection. So what's the third step? It's activated self-motivation. When you're self-motivated, you have this way of actively processing and initiating, guiding, and maintaining good-oriented behaviors, your goal-oriented behaviors. the ones that are going to get you to the good goals for you. And when you are reactive or inactive in your self-motivation, you don't initiate goal-oriented behaviors because you're confused and you're afraid. You also will guide yourself and others away from being focused on goals because you're consistently disrupting yourself and other people with your reactivity and inactivity. That's not useful. And lastly, you're going to maintain all the wrong goal-oriented behaviors because you're focused on the goals other people have provided to you or the goals that you believe you cannot achieve. When this happens, it's such a violent thing because you lose your capacity to believe in yourself, let alone motivate yourself in any given moment. And this is so important when learning to live your truth. How do you live a truth you cannot stand 10 toes down in because you are stuck in a cycle of reactivity or inactivity that leaves you lacking confidence and motivation? Baby, you don't want to be a reflection of your reaction or your inaction. So if you are looking in the mirror and you only see your brokenness or your stuckness, you're not living your truth. You're living someone else's truth for you. And if you're looking at someone else and all you see is their brokenness or their stuckness, you're not allowing them to live their truth. You're making them live the truth you want them to live for you. And that's not useful, equally violent. However, when you give yourself some lotion to that ashiness and instead motivate yourself with inspired action, you initiate goal-oriented behaviors because you have the right fuel. Your clarity that came from your self-introspection and your confidence that came from your self-reflection. And that's how you're going to be able to guide yourself and others towards focusing on goals, because you'll consistently empower your own and other people's innovation, ingenuity, and impact. This is how you live in inspired action. And lastly, you will discern all the right goal-oriented behaviors because you're going to be focused on the goals you've decided on for yourself from what you've learned through your self-introspection and your self-reflection. So I bet y'all can see where I'm going with this. There is no inspired action without honoring self-introspection and authentic self-reflection. This is because without the clarity and confidence that comes from both respectively, you will not have activated self-motivation in your life, your career, your relationships, or your business. And I don't want that for you. So if you're looking in the mirror and you only see your reaction or your inaction, or worse, their reaction or their inaction, you're not living your truth. You're living someone else's truth for you, or you're trying to put your truth on someone else. It's when you can see what you are motivated to be and do and choose to act on this. That's when you're able to live your truth. This is how you open the door for authentic resilience. And you're going to need that. Oh, yes, you're going to need that. You're going to need that authentic resilience. So I'm about to check the chat in a minute and see what y'all talking about. Yes, Mags is saying, be proud on the things that taught you as the things you've learned. Yes, that is so true. And I'm with you on that. It's super important to have a sense of what is going on within you and really paying attention to that. And I think the main reason why a lot of people are not living their truth is that they're struggling to do that. But I want y'all to remember, the personal level of living your truth is all about knowing what your truth is so that you have a chance to live it. You're going to need clarity to do that. And that comes from the first step of level 1, honoring self-introspection. If you are not engaging in honoring self-introspection, you're not going to have clarity, and you need clarity in order to live your truth. The intrapersonal level of living your truth is all about how you feel about your truth so that you can choose to live it. You're going to need confidence to do that. And that comes from the second step of level 1, authentic self-reflection. Without that authentic self-reflection, you're not going to have that confidence, and that's going to make it difficult for you to live your truth because you won't be feeling good about it. And I want you to feel good about it. The interpersonal level of living your truth is all about owning your truth when you sense what other people feel about you and your truth, because this is the only way for you to be able to continue to choose to live your truth. And you're going to need resilience to do this. And that comes from the third step of level 1, activated self-motivation. If you don't have that activated self-motivation, you're not going to get to the resilience that's going to help you own your truth, even when other people are like, I don't agree with that. You shouldn't be doing that. That's wrong. That's backwards. You'll be able to still motivate yourself despite the naysayers. This is how you get to an actionable safe space as you live your truth. That's what this is about. So checking the chat. Nothing there to check out. All right. So Let's get into the second level, because like I said, there's levels to this. The second level of ensuring you reflect your truth and not your problems is for you to authentically handle your problems. This second level is also personal, interpersonal, and intrapersonal. The personal level of handling your problems is all about knowing the root of your problems so that you have a chance to handle them. Okay? The intrapersonal level of handling your problems is all about how you feel about your problems so that you can prioritize what you choose to handle first while knowing why you're choosing to handle that problem first. The interpersonal level of handling your problems is about owning your problem when you sense what other people feel about the impact of your problems so that you can add this knowledge into the mix when you're prioritizing which problems you want to tackle first. You want to make sure you're thinking about other people as well, because owning the harm caused to you and others by your problems is important shit. So let me give you the steps you can take to handle your problems at this second fundamental level, okay? But first, I want you to understand what I'm about to share with you is really wrapped up in some misconceptions that people get really, really backwards. They don't really understand how to handle their problems. So their way of handling their problems is giving them something that they're really not looking to get. And it's a whole world of hurt. So let's get into these misconceptions so that you'll know how to handle your problems. A lot of people, the first thing that they try to do is hide their problem. And while it is natural to want to hide your problems when you realize you have them, this is not useful. It does not make sense. I mean, while it does make sense to actually think about who you want to share your problems with and be discerning about that, you don't want to focus your efforts on hiding your problems. When you focus your efforts on hiding your problems, you're going to get the following results. No one will know what is going on. So people who could help you and who desire to help you won't be able to because you blocked them from being able to help you because you didn't tell them what was going on. So if you want support from others on a problem, you look good being willing to tell them about your problem. Think about it. How can someone help with any problem that's worth getting support on if they don't know about the problem? It's just really not possible. Similarly, if you want advice and guidance-based support, that's a specific type of support. If you want advice and guidance-based support, folks need to know the details of your problem. If you're not willing to tell other people the details of your problems, then you're not going to be able to get the guidance you need to navigate the problem so that you can get what you want. Again, how can someone provide guidance worth hearing if they don't know the details of your problem? Like, that's just kind of like not how it works. So let's talk about where all of this is going to lead you. Hiding the truth of your problems as a rule is going to leave you with no other option than to make poor choices. Without support and guidance, we all make poor choices. That's a human thing. It's part of why parenting is so important. Children need support and guidance just like big humans need support and guidance, okay? But I digress because this conversation is not about parenting. But as you can see, focusing on hiding your problems is ashy and it will leave you stuck. And this is the first major way I see people allowing their problems to block their truth. I don't want that for y'all. So here's your lotion. Instead of hiding your problems, you actually want to share them. And I know that that's counterintuitive emotionally. So let me break down for you how you can go about this and still protect yourself. First, you want to get clear on who can support and guide you in your problem. So like put together a list of everybody that can help you. Like let's just say that that's 10 people to make the math simple. Second, you want to get confident in who you can trust to support and guide you if you share your problems with them. So you're going to look at those list of 10 people who have the capacity and the capability to support and guide you. But then you want to think about who knows me well enough to actually give me guidance and support that is going to be personalized to me, who's not going to down me, who trusts me, so they are also going to give me advice that shows that they trust me. You want to think about all of those things. How is this exchange going to be honoring for you and the other person? And as you're thinking about that, you're going to narrow down that list of, say, 10, as we talked about earlier, to maybe a list of only 3. Then you need to exhibit resilience by reaching out for support and guidance to those people that you have deemed worthy of your truth. That list of 3 or 4 that you came up with, maybe it's only one person at the end of that list, but that's who you want to reach out to for support and be willing to tell them your problem so that they can support you and help you. I hope that hits for y'all because that is super, super important. So next, I want you to understand, when you hide your problems as a rule, you're going to end up making poor choices. But I want you to know that the root of all of this behavior is not hiding or the choices you're making. These are all symptoms of the root problem. The root problem is really your limiting beliefs. Your limiting beliefs are why you hide your problems and end up making poor choices. So if you're really struggling with this, let's have a conversation and explore your limiting beliefs. I'm a free consult away. I don't want y'all out here fucked up in these streets. That's not what this is about. But let's also talk about the second way that people really mishandle the way that they handle their problems. They try to eliminate their problems. And it makes sense why someone would want to eliminate a problem as soon as they realize that it's hurting them, causing loss, creating some negative outcome. This is not useful though. It does make sense to be active in removing whatever does not serve you in your life, in your career, in your relationships, in your business, to be clear. However, when you focus your efforts on eliminating your problems, you get the following results. You don't take the time to consider why you are having the problem in the first place, which means you are blocking yourself from being able to solve the problem. The beeline to the actual solution to the problem comes from, why am I even having this problem in the first place? And if you block yourself from even considering that, how are you going to get the solution? So if you want to know how to get rid of the negative effects of a problem, you look good getting real clear on when that problem started, what was happening when it did, and the part you play in the problem, the part they play in the problem. These are just things you want to consider for starters and get real clear in. Think about it. How can you think through these things if you are jumping to eliminate the problem before you've had a chance to sit in it and discern for yourself? Similarly, if you want clarity and confidence as you handle your problems, this takes time too. When you don't take this additional time, you create insecurities in your life, your relationships, your career, and your business. So don't rush the process and trust that what is happening for you, not to you. When you rush to eliminate your problems, you don't see any of this. There's no time to. Again, how can you develop the clarity and confidence required for you to manage your problems if you don't give yourself time? And let me tell you where all of this leads you. It's not a good place. Focusing on eliminating your problems before you've understood the truth of them is going to leave you with no other option than to have self-dishonoring boundaries. Without the learning and the security that we can develop, we will all end up having self-dishonoring boundaries. That's a human thing, and it's part of why it's so important to get to an actionable safe space. But I digress. As you can see, focusing on eliminating your problems is ashy, and it's going to leave you reactive or inactive. This is the second major way that I see people allowing their problems to block their truth. So here's your lotion, because I don't want y'all dealing with this. Instead of focusing on eliminating your problems, I want you to actually enter into a relationship with them. Like, get to know them. Sit down, make some hot cocoa, sit in front of the fire because, fall is coming, it's starting to get cold. Have a conversation. Because it's counterintuitive emotionally to do this and enter into a relationship with your problems, but it's what you want to do. So let me break down how you can actually do this. First, you just got to get clear on what there is to learn in the problem you're being presented with. What is there for me to learn? What's coming at me that's for me? And if it's a lesson, I'm here for it because I'm here to learn. It's only going to make me stronger. It's only going to make me better. You want to have that attitude going into this, and that will allow you to see what you can learn in the problem that you're being presented with. Second, you want to get confident in the security that you're developing in courageously and intimately meeting the problem head on. Yes, you feel insecure because you have this problem, but you don't want to create more insecurity by not meeting the problem head on. You got to realize that when you meet the problem head on, you're only making it easier for yourself in the security market, okay? You are developing your courage and you're intimately meeting the problem head on, which is making you have more security. Third, you're going to be exhibiting resilience by creating and engaging with the self-honoring boundaries that you're going to develop as you handle your problems in the ways that are authentic to you. There's no way to not develop self-honoring boundaries as you're going through this process if you meet your problems head on, because you're going to need those boundaries to actually handle the problem, okay? So that's what this is all about. At the bottom, when you are eliminating your problems as a rule before you get into a relationship with them, you end up having and enforcing self-dishonoring boundaries. And like before, you got to know that the root of all of this is not eliminating, right, your problems or having self-dishonoring boundaries. These are symptoms. Your fears are the root of all of this. Your fears are why you eliminate your problems first before you even get to have a relationship with them so that you can actually solve them. And that's how you end up with self-dishonoring boundaries. I really want that for y'all. So again, if you're struggling with this, let's have a conversation and explore your fears. You can always book a free consultation for us to have that conversation because I don't want y'all out here fucked up in these streets. And don't sleep. Don't sleep on any of this. Let me check the chat and make sure we have nothing going on. All right, perfect. I don't want y'all to sleep because this is not easy work. Managing your limiting beliefs and fears to make right choices so that you can develop and harness self-honoring boundaries is not light work. You'd be like, oh, it's light work, it's easy. It's not. You got to do the hard work to get that done. And this is why I said earlier that handling your problems in ways that are authentic to you is not as easy as most people think. They just be like, handle your problems. And there's a lot of shame and guilt that is put on people when they don't handle their problems a way that someone thinks that they should. But the honest truth is you got to have some compassion. Most people have no clue what their limiting beliefs even are, even when they're aware of their fears. And even when someone is clear on what their fears and their limiting beliefs are, they may not be clear on what to do about them. And that's just the reality. And all of this is central to why it is so easy for folks to let their problems block their truth. They simply don't know how to not allow their problems to block their truth. So I wanted to get on here and give y'all an alternative, because I know a lot of humans have not been taught how to do this. Plus, as humans, it's natural for us to have fears, it's natural for us to have limiting beliefs, and it's also natural for us to have problems. So if we don't know how to navigate our fears, our limiting beliefs, and our problems, we're going to end up showing up as a reflection of our problems instead of showing up as a reflection of our truth. And we don't want that. So you don't have to stress out. You can handle this inevitable ashiness. The lotion is to understand that this work is not easy, and then to use the jewels I've given you today so that you can unpack your limiting beliefs and your fears. And if you need some support and guidance with this, know that I am here. So there's this third level of ensuring you reflect your truth and not your problems. And that's for you to refrain from ashiness and get you some lotion. This third level is personal, intrapersonal, and interpersonal too. The personal level of avoiding ashiness is all about knowing what is actually going on so that you have a chance to navigate it. The intrapersonal level of avoiding ashiness is all about how you feel about what you know is going on so that you can choose agency within it. And the interpersonal level of avoiding ashiness is all about owning the impact of your truth on yourself and on others so that you can act on your authentic agency. You cannot be and do in ways that keep you in an actionable safe space if you can't live, love, and work with authentic agency. So let me give you the steps you can take to live your truth while handling your problems so you can get yourself some lotion for this ashiness at this third foundational level, okay? So I don't want you out here building boundaries on what your fears tell you. I want you to listen to your desires and your values. The way you do that is to build boundaries based on what your past self and your lived experience tell you about your current desires and your current values. I don't want you listening to what your fears tell you, okay? And I don't want you out here making choices based on what your limiting beliefs tell you is possible for you. I want you to listen to what your desires and your vision tell you is possible for you. The way to do that is for you to make your choices based on what you desire for your future self, not what your limiting beliefs tell you is possible for your future self. Okay, that's all you got to do to connect the dots as I close this out. Remember, you bring your clarity from the first step of level 1. Honoring your self-introspection will get you your clarity. You bring that. Then you mix your clarity with your confidence from the second level of level 1, from the second step of level 1, authentic self-reflection. Then you take the mixture of clarity and confidence and combine it with your resilience from the third step of level 1. And that gets you activated self-motivation. You're going to bring all of that, your activated self-motivation, your authentic self-reflection, and your honoring self-introspection, and the clarity, confidence, and resilience that comes with it. And then you take all of that to get yourself to authentic agency. In order to have personal, intrapersonal, and interpersonal agency that is authentic to you, you want to handle your problems in ways that are authentic to you. That is what all of this has to do with reflecting your truth and not your problems. This is how you get to authentic agency. How can you reflect your truth and not be a walking billboard for your problems? You handle your problems, and then you be authentic and move with integrity afterwards. That's how you do it. And this is how you get to an actionable safe space, whether you're alone or with others, as you live your truth and handle your problems. So drop your takeaways in the comments for me, y'all. When you think about what I've shared with you today about how to reflect your truth, not your problems, in your life, your love, and your work. What are your takeaways from today's discussion? I'd love for you to engage in the conversation, whether you're catching me live or you're going to be catching the replay. Engage in the conversation. I'd love for that. And for everyone who's joining me live or catching the replay later, here is the link. I got a link for y'all. Ooh, didn't want to do that. Bloopers on your first live stream. Got to figure it out. All right. Here is the link for y'all so that y'all can keep up with all of the stuff that I got going on in these streets. And it'll also give you an opportunity for you to find my slides from today and also find the various buttons with links to ways that you can connect with me and work with me to activate what you've learned today. Anyone, whether you're an entrepreneur or a non-entrepreneur alike, because people have this misconception that I only work with entrepreneurs, which is not true. But if you're an entrepreneur or a non-entrepreneur alike, you can book a free consultation today, and let's have a private conversation about what it will take for you to get the clarity, confidence, resilience, and agency for you to be in an actionable safe space in your love, in your life, and in your work. But for those of you who are ready to learn and get some shit done, come get some shit done with folks who are clear in their choices, clear in their boundaries, they're flourishing in their life, in their career, in their business. They are moving with authentic agency, because in my community, we clarify your vision so you can conceptualize it and begin building it in the real world. It is time for you to get that big vision out of your head and into the real world. And you're going to need other visionaries and their knowledge for that. So I want to make sure that y'all have an opportunity to get into this community that I've built for us to come together and activate our big visions. And you can join for free today. And who do I mean by us? I mean the whole community for creatives, thinkers, change makers, coaches, and entrepreneurs. And like I said, you can get in for free today. So join my Think Chat Masterminds community and let's get some shit done. And for you coaches who are joining me live, I have more for you, so stick around. If you want to develop as a transformational coach, for those of you who are ready to learn and get some shit done, join me, the Ratchet Sage, in my signature series of training programs that are designed specifically for coaches who want to stand out in this oversaturated industry on their own terms. You can join one of my signature programs that is designed for coaches. My Unlock Your Expert Coach Academy signature series includes my live webinar, which I throw every single month and the third Wednesday of every month. You can catch me next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a 1-hour webinar that is followed by a live 1-hour Q&A session where you can come and ask your questions about what does it mean to be a coach? Where am I at in my coaching journey? This is a great opportunity. This webinar is the right, part of my signature series for someone who has been told you would make a great coach, you should become a coach, or is thinking about becoming a coach, but isn't really sure what that really means. This is a place, this webinar is a great opportunity for you to come and learn what the 5 pillars of authentic coaching power are so that you can get a sense of, do I have 5 pillars of authentic coaching power? Is this something I could create for myself? Is this something I can actually do? I want you to get that clarity and be able to say for sure that you want to join me in this oversaturated industry, because you're going to be bringing some substance into it to help me disrupt this industry, okay? So if that sounds like you want the webinar, and I look forward to seeing you in that webinar next Wednesday or next month on the 3rd Wednesday of next month. But if you're like, listen, I don't want to just know what the 5 pillars of authentic coaching power are. I want to delve into what my 5 pillars of authentic coaching power are and start using that to develop my coaching business. If that sounds like you want to join my 4-week private experience workshop, which is going to give you an opportunity to get into my 3-month intensive. It is in that workshop that you end up getting so clear on what makes you special as a coach. What are you about to do as a coach that since you want to be a coach, what are you about to do as a coach that is going to help you stand out in this oversaturated industry so that you're not just another person out here talking about purpose and authenticity? I want you to talk about something that has really moved you, something that you have actually saved yourself from. That is what I want you to be helping people with, is the thing that you actually struggled with and you are helping people out of. And I want you to get really clear on what that mud is. What is the mud you got out of that you're going to be helping other people with? That is what we're going to get really, really clear on in that workshop. And in the event that you do really well in that workshop and you're able to come up with all of the steps that it takes for someone to get out of that mud, and I think you're a great candidate for this industry so that you can stand next to me and help me disrupt this industry. If that sounds like something that you are ready to do, then I will be extending a private invitation for you to join the coaches who have already graduated from my Unlock Your Expert Coach Academy, the 3-month intensive. I will be extending a private invitation for you to join them and completely frame out your authentic coaching framework, which is the business model for your authentic coaching business. You'll also get really clear in your authentic coaching method, your authentic coaching process, your authentic coaching method steps that you take people through, the questions that you ask your clients that no other coach asks their clients so that you can give them that healing that only you can provide. We get really clear on what all of your offers are, from your minimum viable offers to your forward-facing client offers to your high-end client offers. We get really clear on how you can do a bunch of other things like podcasts, speaking engagements. What are your speaking topics? What's your coaching story? Who are your client avatars? What's your target market? We get clear on all of that stuff in the 3-month intensive. And the only way to get into that intensive is to join the workshop and get a private invitation, because I think that you would be a great fit for that intensive and also to join me in this industry and disrupt it. So if any of that sounds like you and you're a coach, you want to join my Unlock Your Expert Coach Academy Signature Series today, and let's get some shit done. And again, for those of you who are not ready to take action or invest yet, you can always book a free consultation with me so we can discuss the best next steps for you so you can get to an actionable safe space for you and that big vision you've got. And I do ask, as I'm closing out, that you follow me on social media and help me beat these algorithms. I am at Authentic Distinction everywhere except for Twitter, who is the ultimate hater, where I am at True Distinction. If you appreciate what I've said today, if you've gotten some mamma jammas from me today, I appreciate you sharing what you got from me today and sharing this video. They are trying to silence Black, autistic, and ratchet folks out here, and I know y'all won't let them. So follow me today and help me beat these algorithms. And in the event that you sample or share anything I've said today, please tag me accordingly for attribution and homage, because they are also out here trying to steal ingenious, innovative, indigenous greatness, because they reflect their problems, not their truth in their life and their business. Okay, so let's amplify authenticity so you and yours can bring your ass or your actionable safe spaces everywhere you go. And those are my bring your ass next steps for y'all. After you've heard all of this from me today, I know you want to get a better hold on how to go after your own life and reflect your truth and not your problems. You want to really go for it. You don't want to play small and do it a little bit by a little bit by a little bit. You want to actually go for it, and you don't want to have any problems. And if you wanted further support after our conversation today, I wanted you to know that I am here as a solution with the knowledge, strategy, resources, and tools to keep you in action that is born of your authentic agency, because that's what I do. I'll be live, same time and same place on these social media streets, and I'll be talking about next week on Sunday at 7 p.m. how you can get clear in your authentic possibilities. You know, the ones that will change your life that you're struggling to see. Come next week and let's unpack this. And don't forget to bring a friend. This has been a great conversation today. Mags, I thank you for rocking with me. I appreciate your takeaways. I see those in the chat. Thank you, Boo. I'll be responding as soon as I'm done with this live stream. But like I said, this has been a great conversation, and I thank y'all for being here and catching the replay, if you are catching the replay. And y'all know what time it is. It is time for me to close out this live stream. So here is my countdown. 5, I want you to stay open so you can explore as you live. 4, prioritize choice so you can navigate your life and your world. 3, I want you to choose acceptance so you can empathize while you discern and decide concerning yourself and others. 2, I want you to encourage agency so that you can innovate when you're alone and with others. And last but not least, I want you to value your desire, okay? So that you can activate all the things that matter to you from the actionable safe spaces you will create using my signature process of desire, choose, act. So peace, love, harmony, and blessings, y'all. And I'm out. Stay authentic and be sure to bring your ass everywhere you go. and peace.